Hey guys, it's Eddie and today I am back with another movie review for you all. Now today's movie has been requested of me by the lovely people of Tumblr, and it is of course the fantastic Nancy Savoca directed film starring River Phoenix and Lily Taylor. It's Dogfight, and basically let me just give you a small rundown of the film's plot for you for anyone who hasn't watched it, because this film was totally new to me. So basically it centres around this young Marine called Eddie Birdlace, and he's spending his last night in San Francisco with a couple of his Marine buddies before being shipped off to Vietnam. Eddie and his friends aim to attend a dogfight in which basically the guy who brings the least attractive date wins some prize money. And in his attempts to recruit a date for the night, he meets Rose, who is played by Lily Taylor. And she's not unattractive, she's just kind of very shy and awkward and a little bit unrefined. And she's actually an ambitious girl. She's got very, ambitious ideas about her future, even though she's working in a cafe with her mother. He ends up developing actually a very sweet relationship with Rose, but as he leaves for war, the two lose touch. Now there is a very ambiguous ending that follows. I won't spoil anything further. But what begins as a film where the viewer feels incredibly sorry for this girl, who is, incredibly sweet, and has actually quite a lot of. I found myself having quite a lot of contempt for River's character, Eddie. This is sort of pleasantly but slowly subverted as the film grows and continues. And we see that while, Eddie is beginning this very sweet relationship with this, girl who is very different to people he's encountered in his life so far, there are intersplicings, very clever sort of juxtapositions with the actions of his fellow Marine buddies spending their last night in San Francisco, and it reveals them to be very cruel, sex obsessed, obnoxious, and where Eddie and his sort of character can obviously have had the tendencies to go down the same route because of Rose. He's developing something far more meaningful. Now he's a very angry sort of young man, and Rose, is very shy and awkward. So they're sort of polar opposites in a way, but their similarity is that they're both sort of a little bit confused and stuck in a world which is, quite brutal for a young person, as the world is. And they kind of have this reciprocal contribution to changing one another and allowing each other to learn and adapt. For example, Eddie is very angry, but he's sort of reined in by Rose, who is very sort of moral and very a lot perhaps understanding than he is. While she is sort of brought out of her shell a little bit by his sort of quite boisterous and funny character. So while she reins him in and opens his eyes to his sort of blind errors, she is sort of able to let loose when she's with him. So they contribute to maybe each other experiencing things that they didn't before. And in that way, it's very sweet. And I think, once again, this film just demonstrates River Phoenix and his absolutely incredible versatility as an actor. If we compare this sort of brash, loud, obnoxious character, this angry Marine, with his sort of hilarious but infuriating actions at times in the film, to Mike from My Own Private Idaho, we clearly see what was some fantastic potential in him as an actor, and the nuance of his roles. He seemed to really understand them and mold himself into these very real, very as I said, nuanced characters. And Eddie in this film is no different. He really sort of brings him to life. I think the direction of this film is quite standard. Um, it's normal. There's nothing groundbreaking about it, but what is special at the heart of this film is the chemistry between River Phoenix and Lily Taylor. I think Lily Taylor, there's a fantastic sequence near the beginning where she first meets Eddie, and she is told that she's going to be brought to this party unbeknownst to her that is only an attempt to win some prize money, but she's frantically trying on dresses, she's looking at herself in the mirror, she's trying to make sure that everything's right, and there's an incredibly sort of relatable essence to her character. She's nervous, she's awkward, but she's extremely lovable, and I think the audience is incredibly endeared to her. I certainly was by the end of the film, and I really just wanted the best for her, and I really wanted I was very happy when her character started developing this really, really sweet relationship with Eddie's character. Now I think the dancing scene towards the end of the film, where the two of them are in this sort of, it's a weird room, it's like an arcade thing with those like mechanical little toys moving, coupled with some very adorable music, the actual scene really stood out to me. I thought it was very lovely. It was very understated, very touching, and still a little awkward because these two are sort of searching each other still. They're still exploring what it is to be around each other. But I thought the intimacy of that scene, with its awkwardness, with its sort of shiftiness, was really, really sweet, and it really did sort of capture my heart a little bit. I think this whole film did, and I really didn't expect it to, but I think that's a real tribute to the actors who really captured some fantastic on-screen chemistry. I mean, the story is fairly simple, but they really brought it to life. So full credit to the full cast, especially Lily Taylor and River Phoenix, who I think did incredibly well with something fairly simple. The very last portion of this film, again, I'm not going to spoil anything for you who haven't watched it, but it takes you in ways that you may not want, may not expect. I mean, I think the first half of the film is quite predictable. You sort of know where it's going, you know what its aims are, but the last sort of, I would say, 20 minutes of the film are quite unexpected. They're a lot more fast-paced and, more quickly cut than the previous portion of the film. But I think the fact that it takes you in ways you might not want initially, I don't mind, because I think there was a sort of almost realism about this film. It wasn't some crazy, dramatic rom-com. There was, because it was centered around this man who was stuck in this very bravado military culture, and he finally meets a girl that is actually very sweet and points out a lot of his errors, but it's his last night. It could have gone in ways which were very cheesy and too sort of obviously romantic, but I think it held itself back, and that was good. It still held elements of realism, which really helped me enjoy the film a lot more, and I think the ambiguous ending really helped that as well. So yeah, I think it was realistic. It didn't run away with its own plot. It kept itself, reined in, and I really appreciated that about this film, because it could have gone way too far. But that's what I loved about this film. It was very understated, but that made it incredibly enjoyable. I thought that there was an excellent use of soundtrack and music in this film. I think the music that was played, with this, the sort of time setting of the 60s, fitted incredibly well. And it really went along with the characters exploring each other and getting to know each other, and it really suited the two central characters. I thought it was really cleverly done, not too overdone actually. I just thought it suited very well, and it wasn't jarring or anything like that. But I really do think that the two lead actors really make this film. They are the standout. That they are the reason why you are watching it, and they are the reason why you are so invested in it until the very end. It's a basic storyline, but they really bring it to life, and that's why I ended up liking this movie as much as I do now. There are some lovely, very funny moments. There are some very touching moments. I think River Phoenix is not only an actor capable of portraying very moving moments and moving characters, but he also provided some really funny moments in this film as well, while still holding a very meaningful and lovely relationship with his on-screen partner in this film, Lily Taylor. I thought they both brought incredibly heartfelt aspects to their characters, and I must say I just really enjoyed this film. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it 4 out of 5 stars. I just can't think of anything wrong with this film per se. It was perhaps just not as striking to me as others that I've seen. But again, I cannot knock River Phoenix's performance. Neither can I knock Lily Taylor's in the main roles. They were both brilliant, and yeah, that's why I'd probably give this film quite a high rating. I would definitely suggest it to watch for any fans of River. His performance in this is excellent, no different really to his other films, but it's another example of his brilliant work. And anyone that enjoys a good sort of a good enjoyable film that perhaps steers clear of being a cheesy romance, it's a lot more meaningful and heartfelt than that, I think. So yeah, definitely give it a try. But that is it for now. That is my take on Dogfight. Remember, you guys can suggest any movies for me to review by commenting below or messaging me on my Tumblr. The link is always in the description. But that is it for now. Hope you've enjoyed this review, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.